It was a typical Monday morning in a bustling New York City office. The air buzzed with loud conversations about upcoming promotions, bonuses, and office gossip. Employees sipped their coffee, laughing and boasting about their achievements, each trying to outshine the other. In the midst of all the noise, there was one man who remained unnoticed, Daniel Lee, the quiet janitor in his mid-50s. With his worn-out uniform and gentle, tired eyes, he silently moved through the office, sweeping the floors and emptying trash bins. No one paid attention to him, nor did they know about the life he once had. Years ago, Daniel was a skilled engineer at a well-known manufacturing company. He had designed machines that powered industries, but when the factory shut down during a massive economic downturn, Daniel lost everything: his job, his savings, and eventually, his home. Without complaints or bitterness, he took on the janitor's job to survive. He never spoke about his past or sought sympathy. While others were loud about their ambitions, Daniel kept his head down, working with quiet dignity. As he worked, Daniel listened to everything around him, the backstabbing conversations, the shallow talks of success, but he never reacted. He simply did his job, watching, observing, and staying focused. Beneath his quiet presence was a wealth of knowledge and resilience unknown to those around him. He didn't need to speak, his actions spoke for him every single day. In a world where everyone competed to be seen and heard, Daniel's calm humility and steady hands remained invisible, yet his story was far greater than anyone could imagine. And soon, this silent worker would show everyone the true meaning of success, not through words, but through action. The office was in full swing when suddenly, the lights flickered and went out. Moments later, the piercing sound of alarms filled the air as water began flooding from the ceiling. Panic swept across the building. Employees screamed and ran in every direction, unsure of what to do. Word spread quickly: the main server room was flooding. Inside that room was the heart of the company, containing sensitive files, client records, and years of hard work stored on servers now at risk of total destruction. Managers barked orders, but no one had a solution. Everyone stood helpless, frozen by fear and confusion. Amidst the chaos, Daniel Lee, the quiet janitor, calmly set down his mop. Without saying a word, he walked over to his small, rusted locker tucked away in a back corner. From it, he pulled out an old, well-worn toolbox, one he hadn't touched in years but kept close, just in case. While others panicked, Daniel walked straight toward the danger. People shouted at him to stay back, but he ignored them. He entered the flooded server room, water rushing around his feet. His hands moved swiftly and confidently, like a man who had done this 1,000 times before. He found the burst pipe and, using parts and tools no one even recognized, patched it within minutes. Then, he rerouted the electrical flow safely, stopping further damage. The alarms quieted. The water stopped pouring. The servers remained intact, everything had been saved. Silence swept over the office as employees watched Daniel emerge from the room, soaked but calm. Without a single word or any demand for praise, he picked up his mop and resumed cleaning, as though nothing had happened. The same man they had ignored just minutes earlier had saved everything, and they were left speechless, watching in awe. Later that afternoon, the atmosphere in the office had completely shifted. Whispers echoed through the hallways as employees spoke in hushed, nervous tones about what had happened. Word had quickly spread about Daniel's heroic act, and soon enough, the CEO himself demanded to meet the man who saved the company. Inside the sleek, glass-walled conference room, the entire leadership team sat, their faces filled with a mixture of curiosity and embarrassment. Daniel was called in. He entered quietly, still wearing his worn janitor's uniform, his hands rough from years of work, but his eyes calm and steady. The CEO, a sharp, commanding man, stood up and looked at him with both gratitude and disbelief. "How did you know what to do?" he asked, his voice echoing in the silent room. Daniel spoke softly but clearly. He explained that he used to be an engineer for over 2 decades, designing systems far more complicated than the one he had just repaired. He shared how he lost his job after his company shut down, and with it, his home and savings. Eventually, he found work as a janitor, not out of choice, but out of necessity. "But I don't regret it," Daniel added gently, his voice steady and humble. "Work is work, and I'm proud to do it honestly." Everyone sat in stunned silence. The same man they had overlooked for years had saved them, not only through his skills, but through his quiet dignity. Before leaving the room, Daniel looked around at the faces staring at him and said with a small smile, "Success isn't in noise, it's in doing what's right, even when no one's watching." His words hung in the air, leaving every person in the room deep in thought, humbled by his quiet wisdom. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the city, the rooftop garden of the office became a quiet refuge from the day's chaos. The CEO had invited Daniel there, away from the stares and whispers of the office below. With sincerity in his voice, the CEO offered Daniel a prestigious engineering position with a high salary, praising his unmatched skill and dedication. "You've earned it," the CEO said, his tone filled with respect. "We want you back where you belong." Daniel, standing by the edge of the rooftop, looking out at the sprawling city, listened calmly. After a thoughtful pause, he shook his head gently, his smile kind but firm. "I appreciate the offer," he said softly, "but I don't need much for myself anymore." His words were steady, without pride or bitterness. "Instead, if you truly want to thank me, start a scholarship fund for the children of workers here, those who dream big but can't afford an education." The CEO was visibly taken aback. His eyes, once sharp and guarded, softened as he realized the depth of Daniel's selflessness. Around them, a few employees who had gathered nearby to witness the moment wiped away tears, moved by Daniel's quiet compassion. Daniel continued, "Give them a chance to build their future, just like I once had. That's all I ask." The rooftop grew quiet, the weight of his words sinking deep into everyone's hearts. The CEO, struggling to speak past the lump in his throat, nodded with teary eyes and simply said, "It will be done." In that moment, Daniel's act of kindness touched every soul present, showing that true greatness lies not in personal gain, but in lifting others toward their dreams. Every employee passed by it daily, pausing for a moment, reflecting on the quiet man whose actions had changed everything. Daniel, however, remained the same. He still wore his simple janitor's uniform, still moved through the halls with calm steps, still swept the floors with the same quiet dedication. But now, there was a new presence in the building, young interns, bright-eyed and eager, walking in with hope lighting up their faces. Many of them were children of workers who had never dared to dream of higher education. Thanks to the scholarship Daniel had requested, they now had a future filled with possibilities. Daniel watched them as they entered, their laughter and excitement filling the air. A soft smile appeared on his face, knowing he had played a part in their journey, even if they didn't know it. He said nothing. He didn't need to. His heart was full, and his work was done in the quietest, most powerful way. As Daniel walked away, back to his duties, a gentle narration began to fade in, carrying the story's final message. Be quiet, work hard, and let your actions speak louder than words. True success isn't what you achieve for yourself, it's what you leave behind for others. And with that, Daniel disappeared down the hallway, leaving behind a legacy no words could ever match. This story is a powerful reminder that true success isn't measured by titles, loud words, or personal gain, but by quiet integrity, humility, and selfless actions. Daniel Lee, a man once overlooked by everyone around him, showed that greatness doesn't need an audience, it simply requires the courage to do what's right, even when no one is watching. Through his silent dedication, he not only saved the company but also planted seeds of hope for future generations. His decision to turn down personal reward in favor of helping others left a lasting legacy that will impact countless lives for years to come. In a world obsessed with recognition and noise, this story teaches us that sometimes, the most inspiring voices are the ones that never speak at all. Daniel's journey proves that the quietest acts often create the loudest echoes, and that the greatest kind of success is lifting others while expecting nothing in return.